Alright, so on to the next one. We're going to do this centerpiece right now, so let's grab it, hit Alt-Q, and same deal with this one. We're going to pretty much do it the same way. It's going to be a lot harder, but let's leave 2 iterations applied, untick isoline display, and we'll just convert it to poly. And again, we're going to need that 3rd iteration after it's mapped to kind of smooth out the edges here. You can see they're still pretty rough even with 2 applied. So, and this one's going to be brutal to have to unwrap. It's one of the most complex on the whole thing, and it's definitely going to be the most tricky. So let's do our best to optimize it first. So I'm just going to go to Edge, and we'll start taking out a few, just like we did on the previous piece. So let's grab these ones on the side. Alright, those 6, and we might be able to get rid of that one. We're going to need this one right here because it's going to help support that corner up there when we apply the other iteration. So we'll leave that. So we'll just go with the 7 across the center, loop them. They'll go all the way around again. It should be about 1176 or so. And just trash those with control backspace and get them out of there. And let's take out a few of these ones running down the center as well. So we'll just start over here, grab a couple. I'm going to skip one right there, maybe grab the center one, skip this one, grab these 2, and loop those 5. We're just going to leave a couple extra ones in there for some support again later on. So about 205 edges or so, we'll get rid of those. Control backspace, and we'll do the same thing down here, grab the center one, and grab the outer 2 on each side. Alright, control backspace again. I'm going to leave one on either side just for some support later on. Let's see if we can take some of these ones out up here. There's a ton. So same thing, I'm just going to zoom in. Let's turn on ignore back facing here to make sure we don't select anything on the other side. And we'll just start grabbing some center ones. And we might as well get rid of this one and this one just to make it a little easier. So I'm going to take 7 across the center. Loop, be about 1078. Get rid of those. And same thing over here, just grab the same ones. So the center one and 3 on each side. 7, loop those. 1078 again, and get them out of there. Now we're not going to be able to do much down here because this is really curved, so we're going to need pretty much all this resolution to hold that shape, but I think we can get rid of some of the ones up here on the flat spot. So let's maybe just take out this one and this one. Maybe these guys, and that one and that one. So 7 again, loop, and get rid of those. And we might be able to do something with this piece down here. I don't think we really need all these. Let's check the right view again. And let's see if we can get rid of a few of them at least. So I'm just going to start selecting a few. So we'll grab 5 again, and let's check it out in perspective and make sure we're not taking out anything we don't want to. Alright, I'm just going to loop these. And that should be fine. We'll still have a support edge on the top and the bottom of our centerpiece here. So we'll loop these, be about 700, and get rid of those. And because we have this little edge detail, this little reveal here, we can't really remove a lot of these, but we might be able to get rid of some. So let's zoom in. There's a ton of them really close together here, and it's going to be pretty difficult to map. So zoom in as close as you can get, and we'll just see if we can take out a few of them. So let's just start grabbing a few here. Alright, check the corners, make sure we're not taking out anything too low down, which we are. So I'm just going to alt-click these 2. I don't think I want to go that low down, so I'm going to leave this one as well, and we'll just take out maybe these center 5 right here. Okay, so I'm a couple from the bottom, and I'm a couple from the top. Alright, so loop, and it'll be 410 it looks like. Get rid of those, and we'll do the same thing down here. I'm going to try to grab the same ones if I can. Okay, 5 more, loop. Just take a look, that looks fine, it's 410 again. Get rid of them, and we'll do the same thing on this side over here. Okay, so zoom in, and let's just grab a few here. And I'm trying to take out the same ones I took out on the previous ones. I think we might want to leave that one. I think I want to take this one instead. Alright, so loop, 410, trash them, and we'll do the last one up here on the top corner. Try to get in a little closer. And it's a little hard to tell which ones you're grabbing with so many so close together, so just take your time and be sure you get the same set of 5 if you possibly can. Loop them and remove them. Okay, so it's not going to help a ton, but it'll definitely make it a little bit easier on us. Let's see if we can get rid of some of these ones running around the center. On the inside of this hole here, we don't really need all these on here, so let's grab a few. All right, I'm going to loop these 5. And just zoom in up here. And we might be able to get rid of one more on the top and one more on the bottom. Okay, I just don't want to take out the last one before the corner because that's going to act as support for us later on. So those 434, trash them. Alright, so that's about as optimized as we're going to get it, I think. And we'll just start cutting now, and it's going to be probably a real bastard, but we'll see how it goes. So let's put the unwrap on, drop into edge, and we're going to have to probably cut the front off, so I'll do that in a second. I think I'm going to just cut the sides off like we did on the previous piece. So we'll just zoom in on the first corner here at the front. And again, I'm on edge, and I'm just going to grab let's maybe take this one right here. Just trying to decide where I want to do it to make it the quickest. Let's maybe take it here first and do a loop on that. So right on the corner, edge, right to that point. And we go down underneath and just check. I'm just trying to figure out the best way to do it so we can stitch some of it back together later on and we won't really notice the seams. Okay, so we'll take that outside corner. I'm also going to grab the one here on the corner, loop that. Do the same thing on this side. Alright, so that one and this one right here, loop those. And they'll stop right at that corner point where the loop ends. Okay, and I'm just going to cut those into a seam right away, just so I can kind of have something to guide myself by as we're going here. And I'll try to go fairly slow on this because it's really confusing with all these edges and I don't want to lose anybody. So I think I'm going to cut the side off completely, and we're probably going to have to cut the top off again like we did on the other piece to get it flat. So let's maybe zoom in again back to edge, and I'm just going to grab one maybe right here, so the second one from the bottom, and do a loop on that. It's going to go all the way around. Okay, we'll do the same thing down here at the bottom. Loop, and do the same thing on this corner, loop it, and right up here on the top. Second one to the bottom, loop. Okay, and they'll go all the way around, and we'll just convert this to seams right now. And we're going to have to figure out how we want to do the front and the center piece. I think I'm going to cut the front off into one flat chunk, and I'm going to see if I can unfold this piece here like a box. Alright, so let's zoom in here. So let's grab one right here on the corner in between these 3 edges, and we'll loop that. And again, I'm just using this corner point right here as reference. And we'll go right up this way as well, so loop again. Don't worry if it goes past the one we already cut in, we'll clean that up in a minute. Just going to do it on each side, and also the same at the bottom. So we'll just move down here, grab that one, and loop it, and then we'll convert it to seams. Okay, so we're just connecting things up, and we don't need these selected right here, so I'm just going to go to Edit Seams, switch back to my paintbrush, and just Alt and drag just to deselect those ones that we don't need. Okay, and we'll do the same thing up here, just get rid of these ones. And these 2 right here. Okay. So we're going to planar map the front, so I'm just cutting that off to just get it away from everything else. And let's maybe go around the inside of the box shape here. Now, like I said before, we have this little reveal detail here, which is going to make things a little more difficult. So what I might do is try to keep this part connected to this part and unfold that all as one piece. So I think I'm going to come right down the corner here on the back and just cut this. So I'm just going to turn off this, go back to edge, just grab an edge and loop. And again, we'll stop right at that corner point, so I'm just going to cut this right up to the top. So let's convert this one to a seam. And I'm going to use point to point here and just connect these up. Okay, so right down to the corner and then down to the bottom of the box shape. And we'll do the same thing down here, just connect these up. And hopefully you can see this okay with the compression. I'll try to go as slow as I can just to make sure everybody can follow it okay. And we're going to go over to the other side and do the exact same thing. So just connect this one to this one. Alright, let's undo that. Make sure we're following the right edge here. So there and there. Alright, and then right up the side of the crack here. Just going to hit Z, zoom out, spin around, and then we'll just connect them up. So up to the corner point, and up to the top seam that we already did. Alright, so this will unfold with this attached and this attached. It's going to split right here, and these little edge details are going to come with it, okay, on the top and the bottom. Now for the inside of the back here, I think we're going to have to do it the same way, so let's zoom in down here. I'm just going to spin around if I can. Zoom in underneath. And if you have a problem zooming in properly like this, just turn off your point-to-point seam and just select the edge. Grab one and just hit Z to zoom on it, and it'll reset your rotation. Okay, so I'm going to loop this one right here. Again to that corner point, convert to a seam, and we'll use point-to-point just to connect them up. So like that, and we'll do the same thing at the top. Right here to right here. Alright. And we'll move around to the other side here and do the same thing. So zoom in again. Alright, just grab an edge, hit Z, loop that one, convert it, and then just use point to point to connect them up. And we'll do the same thing up here, connect that to that. Okay. And I think for the back here, now we could do it the same way we did the front. We could just cut this whole thing off as one piece. I think what I might do is split the sides off and keep this back face attached to the center box section. But that'll be up to you. If you want to do it a different way, you can. So I'm just going to do the same thing I just did on the front. I'm going to come down right from that edge to the corner point and then just work my way right down the back. Alright, zoom around again. And sorry about this rotation problem, but it's kind of wonky. Okay, so just make sure they match up. And we'll do the same thing over here on the right side. Right, corner point to seam, and then right up to the other corner point and right up to the top. Okay, and if you go too far, like I did right here, you could either leave it, it doesn't really matter if there's a little open seam there, but if you want to get rid of it, just go back to your edit seams, hold down Alt, and just get rid of it. Okay. And now I think I'm going to planar map this side. We could leave this attached, but I think it might be easier to just stitch it back on after, so let's just split it right down the back corner here while we're at it. So again, with point-to-point seam, we're just going to cut right down maybe this loop right here. Okay, zoom in and connect them up. And I'm trying to aim right for the corner if I can get it. If you're a little off, it doesn't, necessarily matter, but I'm looking for the center loop if I can get it. Get a little closer. And we'll just go down. And this rotation is really a pain in the ass. Alright, I can't really see what I'm doing there, so I'm just going to grab an edge and just reset my viewports to it by hitting Z. And then connect them up. Okay, so they'll just come off as separate pieces we can planar map. And same with the inside, we'll planar map those. This should unfold fine. We might need to put a seam around it, so let's maybe do it on the inside at the bottom where you won't notice it. So again, I'm just going to grab an edge there, hit Z, zoom in, find my center point, which will be right there, this guy. Loop that. It should stop right at that corner, vert again, and then just convert it to a seam. And that'll just give us an extra split there that will help this unfold. Okay, so I'm just going to take a quick look and see if I forgot anything. I think it should work. It's going to be a bit of a mess, but I think that should work, so let's just try. So we'll go back to face, and let's maybe start on the box here. I'm going to grab a poly up there, expand the selection. We'll use pelt map here. All right, pull it out and commit. And we'll do the same thing with this box down here. Pelt it. And commit. And let's grab this bottom face. Expand the selection, just do a quick planar map on that. And same with the other side. Quick planar map. And we'll move around to the front. And we may as well just planar map that. And let's do the sides. So I'm just going to grab it on the outside here, expand it, planar map it. And we'll move to the other side, do the same thing. Planar map. And on the inside of the hole here, let's grab one on the side there and expand it, planar map that. And do the same thing with the inside of this side, planar map. Now this is already a part of the box, so we don't need to worry about that, and this one's already attached to this piece, so we're done the inside of the hole. Now we just have to do the top and bottom of each side. And I'm going to do it the same way we did on our previous piece, so just expand the selection, make sure you only have the top selected, and just do a planar map for now. Okay, on both sides, and on the bottom on both sides. Okay, and I think that's all of them, so let's just open up our material editor by pressing M and drag and drop our checker material on it. And we'll turn off our background here in the editor window, and I'm just going to pull this a little bigger so I can see what we're doing. Turn on by element, and we'll just sort our pieces out again. So I'm just going to pull stuff out so it's not overlapping. Alright, that's one of the back pieces, that's the other one, that's the top or the bottom of one side and the top or the bottom of the next side. Outside, I think that's the inside of the hole, and the outside. Alright, so let's just get them flattened down, so I'm just going to rotate this a bit. Open up the relax tool, crank our amount up, crank our iterations up, and we'll use face angles here again, and I'll just move this over so we can kind of keep an eye on it down here in the viewport, and we'll just relax it. And if we did cut all our seams correctly, it should flatten out, I would think, fairly easily. Let's hope so anyway. Alright, that looks good, so let's grab the next piece, which is the main box up here, and we'll just do this quickly. I'm just going to rotate it so it's a little bit straighter. Alright, relax it a couple times, and let's just maybe move these guys over here so we know we're done with them. This is the front face, I believe, so just relax that. And we might be able to put some of it back together, I don't know how much we'll actually be able to stitch back together, but if we can, we will. These were planar map, but I'm just going to relax them anyway. And that's the two outside faces on either side, and we'll drag them over here. These are the two inside ones, I believe. So just grab both of them and relax them. Move them over. And these are the bottom little pieces, so let's just relax those. I'm going to try to straighten everything out if I can. Let's zoom in here so we can see what we're doing a bit better. Alright, relax. Relax. We might be able to stitch those on somewhere, so I'm just going to move them over. And now we just have the top and bottom of each piece on the side, so same deal with these as before. They're probably not going to turn out perfectly straight, but I'm going to try, so I'm just going to relax it. And I think I'm on the bottom piece here on the right side. Okay, so grab the other side, same thing. And the tops. Okay, and it looks like it's staying fairly straight, surprisingly. We're getting a little bit of a wobble in there, but nothing major, so I don't think we need to really worry about straightening it out. Alright, so with that done, let's just scale our pieces again so they're uniform. And we'll figure out how we want to lay out our UVs. Like I said, I don't think we really can stitch it back together too much, so I'm just going to kind of lay them out so they make some kind of sense. So I have the center box here. I'm just going to put that right in the center. This one below it, so we know that's the two middle pieces, and then we have our top face here, which I'm going to move up just in the front. And I don't think we're really going to be able to stitch that back on, because if we do, these pieces are going to start overlapping the sides. So we'll just leave it right at the top like that. And let's figure out what we want to do with these pieces. Okay, I think that's the bottom, and that's the bottom, so I'm going to move this over there, and these are the top pieces, so I'm just going to put them on either side. Alright, zoom in, and just stack them up kind of close to each other if you can, just save some space. And let's grab the sides. Alright, so for these ones, there's really no good way to put them in there, so I'm just going to rotate them so they're just vertical, and just maybe move them over right next to it, so we know when we texture that these kind of match up. Same with this side, we'll just rotate it so it's somewhat straight. Stick it over here, and these are the inside of the hole, so we'll just move these over. Let's maybe, we could put these vertical as well, or we could put them horizontally. I might just stick them like this on the sides. And again, you can, pack this completely different if you want to. And there are two little end pieces. We could leave these separate, or we could try stitching them onto either the top or maybe the side. Let's maybe stitch them back on. And again, if we put them on here, I think they're probably going to start overlapping a little bit. So I might not do that. I might just stitch them onto the side pieces. So I'm just going to move that one up. It matches up with this one right here. And this one will go over here. And we'll just zoom in here. Let's turn off by element, grab our edge selection, and just grab an edge. Okay, I'm right on this back edge right here. And we'll just do a loop on that. And I'm just going to right click and stitch selected just to put it back on. And we'll do the same thing over here just so we have less pieces to work with later. Okay, stitch selected. And if you want to, you can just grab these and do another relax on them. It's probably really not going to matter too much, but okay, so hopefully we're done with that. I think it turned out okay. I mean, it's not awesome, but it should work for the most part. So let's just get our last two pieces, which are the bottom strips, and we'll just maybe put them over here, just next to the corresponding piece. Alright, so just pack them like that, or if you want to change it up, you can. Let's just close this. And let's maybe put a turbo smooth on and see if this holds up. So I'm just going to turn off my map seams again, and my peel seams, and let's put a turbo smooth on. One iteration, no isoline display, and we'll just take a look here. And it doesn't look too bad. We have a little bit of distortion. There's some definite noticeable seams. You can see it right here all down the side. So we're going to have to be very careful when we texture it that we kind of hide that as best we can. But yeah, like I said, I don't think there was really any good option to get this one done. So that turned out fairly good. So let's just change our mesh color to blue so we know we've mapped it, and we'll just exit. Just take a quick span and make sure everything's looking right. And that looks pretty good. Okay, so that's definitely two of the worst pieces out of the way, which is good. And I think from here on out, everything should be quite a bit easier, with the exception of maybe this guy up here. But everything else should be pretty quick. So let's just definitely do a save, so we don't have to redo it if we have a crash.